This is the only store in America where the customers do all the work. Think about it. You haul your own goods through the door, you load the machines, you run them, you unload them, fold everything on their table, clean up after yourself, and then you pay them on the way out. And the internet is obsessed with this place. Scroll for 5 minutes and some guru will tell you the laundromat is the perfect passive business, a room full of metal boxes that turns quarters into a 6-figure income while you sleep. Here's the strange part. They're half right. A well-run laundromat really can clear margins most small businesses would kill for. But the money doesn't come from where you think it comes from. And the machines are honestly the least interesting part. In the next 10 minutes, I'll show you what a laundromat actually sells. While he spawns to endfully the X face, I'll show you what a laundromat, what actually savings to the full. And why the most valuable thing in the building isn't bolted to the floor. It's a piece of paper. Start with a single wash, because the math is beautiful. You push your basket up to a big front loader, tap your card, and pay a few dollars. What did you just buy? Not the machine. It was already there, already paid for, already plugged in. What you bought was about 30 or 40 gallons of hot water, a shot of gas to heat it, a little electricity to spin the drum, and half an hour of the machine's time. In other words, a laundromat buys water, gas, and power at wholesale, runs it through a steel box, and sells it back to you at a markup. That's the core business. Utilities are the biggest bill in the building, running something like 20 to 30 cents of every dollar that comes in. The owner is essentially a middleman between you and the water company, with folding tables. And that's why the machines run themselves. No cook, no cashier, no stylist. The product is hot water and time, and the customer provides all the labor for free. Now, here's how an owner actually looks at that room. Not as one store, as 80 tiny tenants. Every washer is a little apartment that rents by the half hour. The metric the whole industry lives and dies on is called turns per day. How many times each machine gets used. A machine that turns once a day is a struggling tenant. 3, 4, 5 turns a day across the whole floor, and that quiet room is suddenly moving thousands of loads a month. Same rent, same machines. The only difference between a failing laundromat and a thriving one is how many times each drum spins before closing time. And for decades, all of those spins were paid for the same way. Quarters. Picture the unglamorous reality of that. Every week, the owner walks the floor with a key and a bucket, emptying steel boxes of coins. Hundreds of pounds of them, counting them, wrapping them, hauling them to a bank that charges you for the privilege of depositing your own money. The laundromat was America's last great coin-operated business. A cash machine in the most literal, most back-breaking sense. Hold that image, because we'll come back to what replaced it. Now zoom out, because this little arbitrage is everywhere. There are around 30,000 laundromats across America, quietly pulling in somewhere around $5 billion a year. No ads. No brands you can name. Almost invisible. Until you need one. And a lot of people need one. Roughly 1 in 6 American households doesn't have a washer at home. In big cities, whole neighborhoods live in apartments where a washer hookup simply doesn't exist. 60 to 80% of laundromat customers are renters. For them, this isn't a convenience. It's infrastructure, as non-negotiable as the grocery store. Which explains the industry's superpower. It's nearly recession-proof. When money gets tight, people skip restaurants, cancel subscriptions, delay vacations. Nobody stops washing their clothes. In a downturn, laundromats don't just survive. They often get busier, because the first appliance a struggling household stops repairing is the washing machine. Cheap to run, immune to recessions, customers who do the work themselves. You can see why the internet fell in love. And oh, did it fall in love? Over the last few years, boring businesses became a whole genre of get-rich content. And the laundromat became its mascot. Buy a laundromat, the videos say. The machines print money. You check in once a week. Passive income. So let's talk about what the videos skip. First, the buy-in. A laundromat isn't a side hustle-priced asset. Between the machines, the plumbing, the build-out, you're typically looking at $200,000 to $500,000 to open or buy one. A single commercial washer can cost as much as a used car, and a store needs 40 to 100 machines. And thanks to all those videos, the deals got worse. When a business becomes a content genre, buyers show up faster than sellers, and prices get bid up. The tired old store that nobody wanted 5 years ago now has a broker, a bidding war, and a listing that calls it semi-absentee. Even at a fair price, the honest math says 3 to 6 years before the store pays back what you put in. That's a fine return. It is not a money printer. Second, passive is doing a lot of work in that sentence. Machines jam, cards decline, drains clog. Somebody's red hoodie turns a stranger's whites pink at 9 on a Sunday night. And guess whose phone rings? The owners who actually hit those famous margins, 20, 30, 35%, are the ones treating it like a real operation, not a vending machine with a roof. But here's the thing. The smart operators aren't just running the machines. They figured out something better. The same machine can be sold 3 different ways. Way 1, self-serve. You do everything, a few dollars a load. That's the baseline. Way 2, wash, dry, fold. Now the store does the work. You drop a bag in the morning, pick it up, folded that evening. Same washer, same water, same 30 minutes of drum time. But now it's priced by the pound, $1.50 to $3 per pound, and suddenly that same load of laundry brings in 2 or 3 times the money. The machine didn't change. The labor moved from the customer to the store, and the price tripled. Way 3, pickup and delivery. Add a van and an app, and the store never even sees you. Your laundry gets collected, washed, folded, and returned to your door for the pound price plus a delivery fee. This is the fastest growing corner of the entire industry because it quietly turns a neighborhood laundromat into something else, a laundry factory with a storefront. And there's a 4th way, the one customers never see: commercial accounts. The gym down the street has towels. The salon has capes and smocks. The Airbnb host 3 blocks over has 6 beds of linens turning every weekend. None of them want to own laundry machines, so the laundromat becomes their invisible back room, washing by contract, on a schedule, at wholesale plus. Steady volume, every single week, filling the machines during the dead hours when no customer would be there anyway. See the pattern? The washers are a fixed cost. They cost the same whether they sit idle or spin all day. Remember turns per day? Every layer of service stacked on top, folding, delivery, commercial contracts, is really just a machine for manufacturing more turns and squeezing more revenue out of the exact same steel. The machine doesn't care who loaded it. The margin cares enormously. So, cheap utilities in, marked up services out, recession-proof demand. Is that the business? Not yet, because everything I just described sits on top of one thing, and it's the thing nobody on the internet talks about: the floor. Here's the trap most first-time buyers never see coming. You spend $500,000 on beautiful machines, 80 of them, bolted into concrete, plumbed into the slab, wired 3-phase into the wall. You own every single one. You just don't own the floor they're bolted to. Almost every laundromat rents its space, and those machines, the moment you have to move them, they're worth a fraction of what you paid. Ripping out and reinstalling a laundromat costs so much that, practically speaking, the machines are worth what they earn exactly where they stand, and almost nothing anywhere else, which means the real asset isn't the equipment, it's the lease. A laundromat with a long lease, 15, 20 years, transferable to a buyer, is a sellable business worth a healthy multiple of its cash flow. The identical store, same machines, same customers, with 3 years left on its lease? Banks won't finance it. Buyers walk away because what they'd really be buying is a countdown clock, and when it hits 0, the landlord can name any rent they like, knowing you can't afford to leave. Your $500,000 of steel is their hostage. That's the quiet truth under the whole industry. A laundromat is a real estate bet wearing a laundry costume. The operators who get rich negotiate the lease like their business depends on it, because it literally is the business. The machines are just what the lease wears to work. Now, the honest part, the threat. This business has a slow leak. Every new apartment building comes with washers in the units. Every year, in-unit laundry creeps a little further down the income ladder, and the number of laundromats in America drifts a little lower. The customer base isn't vanishing. Dense renter cities will need shared laundry for decades, but the tide is going out slowly, one renovated building at a time. So watch what the winners are doing. Remember the owner hauling buckets of quarters? That era is ending. The modern store runs on cards and apps, no coins to count, no cash to steal, and, quietly, something the quarter could never do: prices that change. $1 more on Sunday afternoons, when every machine is taken. A discount on Tuesday mornings to fill the dead hours. The same dynamic pricing that airlines run, humming away in a neighborhood laundromat. And they're going all in on wash, dry, fold, and delivery, chasing the very customer who left for an in-unit washer and selling them back their own free time instead. The self-serve floor becomes the anchor. The services become the growth. The losers? They're the passive income stores. Bought off a YouTube video, never modernized, run from a distance, waiting out a lease that gets shorter every year. So here's the real lesson, and as always, it's bigger than laundromats. The internet sells you the loud part of a business, the room full of machines, the quarters clinking, the passive income dream. But the money was always in the quiet parts, the markup on hot water, the service stacked on the same steel, and a piece of paper, signed before a single machine was installed, that decides whether the whole thing is an asset or a hostage. Next time you're in one, 9 at night, hauling your basket, loading the drum, folding on their table, look around. Every person in that room is doing the work. The owner isn't even there. That's the only store in America where the customers clock in, run the shift, tidy up the factory floor, and pay for the privilege on the way out. The machines were never doing the work. You were.